I started riding when I was a little baby. I can remember stories of my mom telling me that, when I was a little baby, she would put me on top of the horse, and apparently I just absolutely loved it because I would just start smiling and giggling according to her. She just thought that I just loved it. And as I grew older, I realized that I did love it. I knew that I wanted to take my riding to the next level. I would always watch it on TV. I would watch the Olympics on TV. I knew that I wanted to be part of the Olympics, but at the same time, the amount of money, time, dedication, finding the right trainer, learning all the rules, there was just so much to be learned about the Olympics. It was just, I knew that if I could make it, it would pretty much be a miracle. Training of the Olympic rider, it takes at least 4 long years to train for the Olympics. Now, it's not just a simple 4 years. Before those 4 years even begin, you have 20, 30, however many years in front of you. You have a lot of years of training. It's not just a walk in the park. Most Olympic riders, they probably did start when they were little kids, or maybe when they were 10 and their moms took them to riding and they were probably terrified, but then eventually they knew that they would just love it. But again, to be an Olympic rider, you need money. You either need money or you need a sponsor. That would be a very good way to make it to the Olympics. But then again, you have to have a lot of time and dedication, even in having a sponsor. Many riders do go through many trainers and coaches, trying to learn as many different things as they can, many different techniques for themselves as well as for their horse. And then again, pertaining to the Olympic rider themselves, this is one of the most physically challenging parts of the horse competition, jumping and eventing. But for this case, jumping in the indoor ring is just as physically challenging as jumping outside on a fox hunter trail. And you have to have a lot of strong self-control. Riding a horse isn't easy. You're on a 1,500-pound animal that could easily buck you off or not even allow you to get on it. So you have to have a lot of self-control because you are controlling an animal that has a mind of its own and is much bigger than you and powerful. Training your horse, again, you need to have a very good, well-known trainer. Around here, Sally and Olin, that live right here in Verona, Virginia, they train thoroughbreds, which are perfect for the Olympic riding. They start training them when they are 2 years old, and then they normally get rid of them by the time they're 6 or sell them to somebody that maybe does want to become part of the Olympics, or maybe that just wants to ride but not go that far into the competition. The thoroughbreds, the reason that they are perfect for the Olympic riding is they're very athletic, they're very energetic, and they're strong, sturdy, tall. They're very tall. Tall frame allows them to be perfect and quick movers around the course, especially in the indoor, where it can be tight in some cases. They're very agile, very beautiful, very perfect fit for horse and rider. And again, the rider, not only do they need to be physically fit, as I said before, but they can't be overweight, I guess you would say. Not to say anything bad about anybody, but part of being physically fit, you're not overweight. You are strong because when you ride, you use your upper body, you use your lower body, you use every muscle that's in your body. I mean, it's just, you would be amazed if you could get up on a horse and just realize the amount of energy and muscle strength that it takes to go across those jumps. Not an easy thing. During competition, the rules are as follows. There are many judges, various judges, and officials that go around and they inspect the ring before the riders come in. For example, from one jump to the next jump, they judge with their feet, they walk it, and they measure the amount of strides that the horse should get in between the jumps. For example, when I'm taking lessons and I'm jumping one standard or one jump to the next jump, I need to get 6 strides. And that's basically one stride from when the horse reaches the next stride and the next stride. And if you get 7 strides, that would mean that you cut the jump long, and you would cut the jump long. But when you're actually on the horse, and if you pay attention, if you know what you're looking for, it would look as if the horse almost they took that extra stride and then they had to catch themselves all over again, and it would look like they almost stopped for an instant, and then they jumped over it. So, and then if they get 5 strides, they would have cut it short, but when they jumped, it would have looked long. It would have looked like the horse just like reaching to get over that jump. So there again, that's also part of the judging and the rules and the scoring. It's not just if you knock the pole down. Your horse must be 9 years old to compete in competition, and normally the average age of the rider is about 40 years. So I'm about 20. I'm 20 now, so I guess I have 20 more years to be a part of the Olympics if I could make it there, which who knows, but for now I'll just keep riding like I am now. And there are also red or white flags around the course, and it indicates a mandatory turn or mandatory jump that the rider must follow, or there will be points or faults. Faults and penalties. There are 4 faults for each standard, which is the pole, which is also the pole that's over the jump that you're jumping over. There are 4 faults for each jump that is knocked over. So you don't want to be knocking over any jumps. There are 4 faults given for the first time that your horse refuses to go over the jump. The second time your horse refuses to go over the jump, you're automatically eliminated. And there are also 4 faults given for if the horse jumps over the water jump and they knock sand in the water, and this is like a big amount of sand, indicating that the horse stumbled or indicating that the horse ultimately just put their foot in the water. So there are 4 faults for that as well. And this is another example of why you have to have a horse that is willing to please, because if you don't, a lot of horses do not like to go over the water. They hate water. So this is another training obstacle over many training obstacles that the rider and horse have to overcome before they can even become part of the Olympics. And finally, elimination occurs if the rider falls off. Again, if your horse refuses to go over the jump a second time, and when a horse and rider do not complete the course in the allotted time slot. So, in conclusion, I would have to say that I did find the perfect horse. He was my best friend. I knew that he could not get me to the Olympics, but unfortunately he did pass away last December, and since then I have continued to ride. It has been hard, but I have continued to ride because ultimately I would like to even go see the Olympics, even if I can't be a part of them. And I know that as he's looking down on me, he would want me to just continue riding and continue towards my dream. Now, will I ever make it there? I don't know. But I do hope to continue riding, and I do hope to maybe even be a part of a JMU riding team when I transfer to JMU in the spring. I hope that my dreams will come true, and even though the Olympics is a long shot, it's not impossible, and there are many, many shows and competitions that may not be the Olympics, but they're pretty big in competition. So hopefully one day you'll see me on TV, or even if I'm not, I'll know that I'm still happy with the choices that I've made.